Agnes and the Hen, written by L. Rowley, illustrated by Claire Therese Gray. On a little farm behind a medium-sized cottage lived a big dog named Agnes. She was strong and wise most of the time, and she was a friend to all. More than anything, Agnes loved to be cozy. Agnes had many jobs on the farm. Every night, she locked the chickens up in their coop before making her way to the cottage to sleep. This kept the hens safe from sneaky foxes. The hens were rather tidy and orderly hens most of the time. They went about their lives in the same way every day, laying their eggs in their nesting boxes at the same time each morning, marching and clucking perfectly as one, pecking and scratching at the dirt in straight lines, and sleeping in a perfect row inside the coop each night. Everyone but Rosie, that is. Rosie was the smallest hen, and she was different from the other hens. Rosie was not exactly disorderly, but she was definitely not orderly like the others. She laid her eggs whenever and wherever it suited her. She wandered all over, usually following Agnes, dancing, howling like a dog, and catching bugs in the air wherever she went. And most shockingly, instead of sleeping with the other hens each night, Rosie slept above them on the branch of a tree. Rosie may have been different from her friends, but she didn't notice. She was a happy hen. Until one day, she wasn't. After days of rain, the sun shone brightly on the farm. Rosie was so excited that her legs and wings began to move, and soon she was dancing right through the chicken yard. She was dancing with such energy that she rolled down the hill, landing in a muddy puddle, waking Agnes from a cozy nap. Agnes gently nudged Rosie out of the muddy puddle and walked Rosie back to the coop. Agnes and Rosie found the other hens looking down at the ground, pecking in their perfect rows by the coop as they always did. As Rosie got closer, the hens stopped pecking and stared at her. They looked disapprovingly at Rosie's feathers. Then, without a word, the hens turned their tail feathers away from Rosie and started pecking all together once more. For the first time, Rosie felt alone. Rosie wondered if being different from the other hens was a bad thing. She slumped down on a nesting box where no one could see her. The other hens continued on without noticing, but Agnes, who noticed just about everything, walked over to Rosie. Agnes didn't say anything at first. She just stood by her. Then Agnes whispered, "Not all who are different are lost. Losing yourself has the greater cost." For a moment, Rosie's heart lifted at the words. At sundown, the hens all gathered around the coop door right on schedule. Agnes wished everyone a cozy goodnight as Rosie hopped through the coop roof to her tree. Right before Agnes shut the latch, it caught on a little splintered piece of wood, stopping it from closing fully. Excited to get to her cozy feather bed in the cozy cottage, Agnes didn't notice and quickly walked down to the house. Late that night, when the moon hung low and the hens were sound asleep, 2 foxes circled the farm like they always did at night. Right away, they saw the open latch. They ran to the door, jumping up to lift it. Rosie heard their rattling from her tree branch and knew something was wrong. Rosie was afraid, but she knew what she must do. She hopped through the hole in the roof, waking the hens up with a jolt. Rosie motioned to them to follow. Silently but swiftly, the hens pushed through the hole and hopped right up to Rosie's branch, just as the foxes opened the door. The foxes were quite confused, but they did not give up that easily. The hens froze. As the foxes approached, Rosie had another idea. She began howling like a dog. "Aroo! Aroo!" Alarmed, the foxes stood still. The hens, seeing their shock, quickly joined in, creating a loud howling chorus. "Aroo! Aroo! Aroo!" Mistaking their howling for dogs, the foxes shot up in a flurry, racing to the gate to escape. Their howling was so loud that it roused Agnes in the cottage. She bolted up to the coop, adding her deep howl to theirs, but the foxes were already gone. The hens rejoiced in their victory, and Rosie beamed. Giving up her own cozy bed, Agnes slept on the dirt by the coop the rest of the night, just in case the foxes returned. The next morning, Rosie slept in later than usual, tired from the long night. She looked down below to see the other hens, who had already started on their day, pecking in straight lines. But as she looked closer, she could see their legs shifting and moving, dancing as they pecked.